Welcome to Thursday, January 20th. Today's readings will be Genesis 32 through 34. Today in history, real quick, remember it's Inauguration Day. Of course, not this year, but every fourth year. Remember to pray for your president today, no matter what you think of the president, who the president is. He is still our president and should be prayed for, according to Romans chapter 13. So make sure you do that. In 4 more years, maybe you'll be more happy, maybe you'll be more angry about praying for him, but you're supposed to pray for the president either way. And speaking of that with politics, this is also, can you believe it was in 2004, today in history, the Howard Dean scream.
Back the White House!
I remember that like it was yesterday, and we're talking about something that happened, 18 years ago, and didn't have a problem with it then, don't have a problem with it now. Somebody who's impassioned about what he believes and stands for, even if it's politics. All right, so real quick, let's hit our 3 chapters. Chapter 32, Jacob heads home now. He's going to meet Esau. 400 men of Esau's men are coming, and so Jacob's rightfully scared. But you also notice here how Jacob prays to God in this chapter. Jacob prays according to promises. Says, God, you sent me. You're sending me home. What good is it if I'm dead? So he reminds God of the promise. And so sometimes when we do that, we're also reminding ourselves of the promise. And so if we have a promise that we know that's going to happen, then, pray according to that promise. Remind God. And sometimes it's just reminding us. And again, as I, read that, I'm thinking, man, poor Leah. Imagine, you're the second favorite wife. At least you're in front of the handmaids, right? And but you and your 4 sons get to be the third drove. And as you're walking off, you look back and you see Rachel and the favorite wife and Joseph, the favorite kid. So, in other words, if you get killed, then at least the favorite will be saved. And so, there's a lot of issues in this family. Remember when we hold up the patriarchs, the 12 tribes of Israel? That was kind of an interesting bunch. And so we're going to, matter of fact, cover some of those here in a bit. We then get to where Jacob is wrestling the angel. Then chapter 33, we find that Esau isn't mad, and Jacob buys some land. Now, in chapter 34, a couple things that we're going to find here. Some things are important to God. One of them is generational curses and generational blessings. Any generation can break them. Any generation could reestablish a blessing. Any of them can. But throughout Scripture, you find 4 generations is what is usually the case. But we find in this chapter, the Lord's pretty serious about marrying in the faith. We find that the Lord is pretty serious about purity. Dana and this guy, loved each other, but still considered defiled. And then proximity seems to be important as well. Lot shouldn't have pitched his tents towards Sodom. Abraham shouldn't have gone down into Egypt. Abraham, he knew not to send Isaac to Haran. Jacob shouldn't have stopped in Shalem. And so, it's interesting. All of Leah's children get into some sort of trouble. Here, we're going to find Dana, Simeon, and Levi, and we're going to find why Jesus ends up being from the tribe of Judah. But Reuben, Judah doesn't do his stuff until chapter 38, so I guess it's already established by then. I want you to notice something. In verse 30 there, Jacob's protest to Simeon and Levi wasn't about the right and the wrong. It was about what do others think about me. We should be more concerned about the right and the wrong than what others think. Of course, we care what people think, and we should. We're going to. But the real issue here was right and wrong. Their concern was more about the thought than right and wrong. Let that not be what we do. Let us be more concerned about offending the Lord on what, instead of, just what will He allow, or is it okay for me to do this, whatever the case is. So, great reading today, and keep it up. Stay faithful, and have a great Thursday.